So once you get serious about a goal, there comes a time when you need to make that big leap that feels irreversible. This is hard because you might not have the courage to jump, but inevitably, when you do make that leap, there are so many distractions waiting. Influencers telling you to buy their course because deep down, we have this deep insecurity needing to do more, and maybe the answer was doing less all along. Nah, not really. The real answer is that a lot of people have created the stigma of needing to expend a lot of resources. I need to use all my money, time, effort, when in reality, stagnation only happens because your perspective has not changed. And people shave their heads because they want to force themselves to change their perspective. People spend money because they want to force themselves to feel like this has more value than it actually has. The first step is realizing that changing your perspective is so vitally important that people will do anything to change how they view the world, because the more accurate your perspective on the world is, the closer you will be to accomplishing your goal. Step 2. You must have a clear mind. A lot of people recommend journaling, meditation, masturbation, but what you need to know is that stress decreases your cognitive ability and IQ by 13 points. So how could you possibly make a good decision when your mind is muddled? And there's this flex brag that people not at their level gatekeeping the real answer that I work 16 hours a day. That is a lie. To realize that hard work does not define success, but the problems you choose to tackle that gives you the highest return in investment. Step 3. In East Asia, there's this practice known as burning the midnight oil, where for an upcoming large exam, the students would purposefully stress themselves by studying the night of, and this method forces them to pick the most efficient problems with the remaining time they have. Step 4. Not one thing is ever true. People develop a superiority complex when it comes to intelligence and base all their opinions in science because it's facts. But in science, every truth is just a theory waiting to be disproven. Eggs were bad for you until it's not. Wine was good for me until the science was paid for. As humans, it's really easy to fall for the appeal to authority, and instead of learning to doubt everything, step 7. Everything has flexibility. Low stress is good for decision making, and high stress does the same thing, but you can never not do anything and make progress while also being in a state of panic. You have to understand that balance is very important. All things can be true at once. Step 8. You should never reuse the same reaction to different situations because it represents how you are not willing to be uncomfortable. The NPC insult is targeted towards people who react the same way towards any interaction because there seems to be so little thought into their brain they default to doing the same thing over and over again. But realistically, this is really sad because deep down, they're so afraid of unpredictability, they would rather choose a predictable bad result because everything is scary. They're so scared. And step 9, the largest motivator for us to doing anything is not a life hack, not a video, but realizing that you lack the courage and the only way to do something you're scared of doing is to want it enough. The biggest motivator is not sex, food, drugs, but death. We do everything because we are scared of death. There is no pity for a person who says they've been wanting to do something for years, but no progress has ever been made because we know, and they know, they don't want it enough. It's much more for the social game. Look at me, I have so much passion, I'm working so hard, but are you really? Because no progress has been made, and there should have been at least something if you actually want it as much as you say it. And here's the thing, people know this. People are aware of this insecurity and take advantage because there's this pressure to always do more. I have to keep up with my lie, and people give the answer of always do less. None of those are the answer. It's always a mix of both. There is not one thing that is ever true. There is always flexibility in your beliefs. Step 10. If everything is true, then nothing is true at all. But sequence matters. Choosing when and what to do depends on the situation, and thinking too much leads to asking stupid questions. What's the meaning of life? Existentialism, nihilism. But remember, we only want to accomplish our goals, and that happens by changing our perspective, and you cannot believe in everything. You must sacrifice one belief for the current situation and sacrifice your comfortable belief that you've been with for so long for the new situation. But people stay stagnant because they get comfortable in this belief they've had for so long, and the longer you stick with it, the more good and bad it is, because both things are true. There's nothing wrong with always maintaining the same opinion because maybe you're comfortable and that's where you want to stay. But also be constructive and criticize yourself enough to realize that maybe this is not what you want. Maybe you are not satisfied with what you have right now and you should change how you view the world. The first step is buying my product. No, seriously, because if you want to change, it's either how you react to the world or the world reacts to you. That's why people shave their heads, but why would you put yourself at an actual disadvantage when you can elevate the way you look? Like, subscribe, check out my second channel. I live stream the entire creative process, scripting, editing, blah, 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 blah. Peace.